Tarantula season is typically in the late summer and early fall from late August to October. The males typically come out about an hour before sunset and go looking for their mate. They stay out about an hour and then they go back wandering about. They don't go back to their burrows, which is where they typically live and hibernate, because they tend to die by the time the cold hits. In our parks, which would be Frank Rains and Modesto Reservoir, you'd see what we call the desert tarantula, and it is tan, about 3 inches in body length, and is hairy. So they are typically not harmful. They do have fangs, but their venom is not poisonous. It's typically like a bee sting, where unless you're allergic to it or you get an infection just from the wound itself, that's the worst of it. But they do have an interesting defense mechanism for predators and a human, if you are the one provoking it, is they have fur on their abdomen, and they can use their legs to rub up against it and flick their hair that has these barbs on the end, and it can temporarily blind a predator, and it can irritate the skin, but it's not long-term, so if you don't bother them, they won't bother you. They like the desert feel and the dry feel that we have here, and the things that they eat, we have plenty in our parks, and they don't require a lot of water. So, that land is perfect at Modesto Reservoir and our other parks.
People just don't know how to react to something like that. They just don't expect to see tarantulas here in California. Very few people know that they are a species that you can find here and how large they get. So everybody's kind of used to the traditional small spiders. So running across something like that can just kind of be off-putting the first time you experience it. So for the most part, they don't bother anybody. You can find them out in a lot of the trails. The one that you're going to find most common in this area is what's called the desert tarantula. You're going to find it all through the Bay Area, all out here in the valley. So they're up in the hills. It is mating season, so they are coming out from their burrows. A lot of times they're just walking looking for food or for other mates. They're not really doing anything. Sometimes they can spook people because they do have the capacity to jump, but that's more of a defensive mechanism to just kind of let people know. You're going to find them more in the mornings, that early morning and going into the evening where it's not so hot during the day, so they'll be coming out looking for crickets and things of that sort. So traditionally, when more of the bugs are coming out is when you're going to start to see more of them, so as the sun is rising and as the sun is setting. Oftentimes they will actually use hiking trails that people have because it is an easy way to avoid obstacles for them, and that's where most of the time people who run across them are on the physical trails themselves. Just like anything, I know that they look big and scary, but they're not doing any harm. They're just going to pass along. They don't bother anybody. They're actually kind of fun to watch for a bit, but like anything, just give them space that they can do what they need to.